Shadow work, I think, is a fundamental way to transform your life. If you want to make transformative changes, if you want to own your life, own your power, to be the person, I mean, I hate to see to be the person you're meant to be, but that's true, the person you were born to be. Because a lot of times, well, all the time, over the course of our life, people accept and approve certain parts of us and they don't approve other sides. And they make comments, and some of these comments are stinging and they hurt, and you bury it within you and you keep going. And, it's like climbing a hill and coming down a hill, up and down, but they leave a mark. And that mark gets left on your soul like a shadow. And over the years, everybody has trauma in their life. I don't care if you have, sexual abuse, you were raped, physical abuse, somebody stole your bicycle, somebody lied to you or took your lunch money. That's all trauma. And there's no one trauma that's better than the other trauma. Or, well, my trauma is this, so I had more trauma. Trauma is trauma. And as women over 45 or 50, we all have trauma. Plus, we have that programming in our minds that taught us that men were more powerful and they were going to take care of us, and don't go to college, get an MRS degree. And all this programming went on and on. And, when I was 18, I told my parents, that's it, I'm joining the military. I graduated in the bottom 10% of my class probably. And school just wasn't for me. It wasn't my jam. I was so bored the whole time. It was just, I look at my report cards and I laugh and I think, who was that girl? It just wasn't my thing. And I joined the military and I really started to prosper. But then, life gets in the way and you have ups and downs and ups and downs. Then my husband had a stroke and, thank God he lived. But it was a catastrophic moment because I was making, at the time, I want to say $10 an hour. He was our main support. And now, fortunately for us, he had disability insurance where he was working. So he had 5 years, but I had to get my shit together. But I was drinking and I was just a mess. I had been, homeless by then. I had a great job where I was making probably $40,000 a year, which, 30, 35 years ago was a ton of money that I just blew. And I kept blowing every good opportunity that was given to me. And I couldn't figure out why. But, I'd run back up the hill and I'd have more successes and then I wouldn't. But when he had a stroke, I knew I had to get it together because our daughter was 3 or 4 years old. I had to figure this out. So I started reading. I went to a used bookstore. I found Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And I read it and I didn't understand it. I read it. I kept saying, in this page, you'll understand it. It's like, I didn't get it. I didn't realize that think was what it was, that what you think about, you can bring about. What if you have a positive attitude and you believe in the power of the universes, then everything will be positive. And if you believe that everything's a miracle, then everything will truly be a miracle. So I really started doing some inner work. I got Tony Robbins' 30-day personal power, and I started doing that, and I got his books, and I went on this very long journey of trying to heal. But nowhere did anybody talk about shadows. They would hit limiting beliefs, and they'd be like what's Tony Robbins say? You can't look at your garden and say, no weeds, no weeds, no weeds. You have to figure out where the weeds came from. But he doesn't really talk about it. The three-legged stool, or, this, Jim Rome, they'll all talk about limiting beliefs and how you have to change them. But they don't tell you where these limiting beliefs came from. And that's the thing. You have to get to the root. You have to get to the bottom, gooky inner workings of your soul to figure out where this stuff came from. Because if you don't know, you can't heal it. Sure, you can say, I want to lose weight, and you lose 10, 15, 20 pounds, but then if you eventually put it back on, you never healed the root of your weight issue. If you drink a lot, like I used to drink a lot, I couldn't stop drinking until I got to the root of why I drank. Why did I keep sabotaging myself? And if you have these patterns that you're repeating over and over, it's because you have a shadow there. You have this deeply repressed comment, rejection, whatever in your soul, that you have to really heal it. I mean, my mom used to tell me that I had the fat gene because my Nana was 5 feet maybe and heavy. And when you hugged her, it was a hug of love. And so I believed I had the fat gene. But more importantly, which took me years and years to learn. And this is when I learned the power of the shadow. And this just happened, 3-4 years ago. It wasn't that was making me keep the weight on. It was the fact that my weight became the one thing in my life I could control. Everything else, everybody else was controlling. I was being abused. Nobody was paying attention. My parents were doing their own thing. I mean, they were good parents, but they weren't paying attention. Otherwise, they would have known something was going on. But nobody was paying attention, and I could not control one thing. But by God, I could sneak that brownie and go up to my room and eat it. I could sneak that cigarette and go up to my room and smoke it. And I could sneak that beer and go up to my room and drink it. And food became control to me. So when I would start losing weight, that was great. And I felt happy, but I wasn't punishing myself by hiding food. I still hid food. I'm 63. I still hid food up until, 3 or 4 years ago. I was still hiding food. I put it in my pocket. And my husband would be like, why do you have a cookie in your pocket? No reason. He'd be like, because he could care less what I ate. But it was so ingrained. It was how I controlled my environment. It's how I felt at peace. Because the pain is better than no feeling at all. So if you wonder why people stay in pain until they heal their shadows, it's because the pain they know is better than being numb. And pain numbs you, but it's a comfortable feeling. Because if you don't have that pain, what will you have? That's all you know. Until you heal your shadow, you only know that pain. So I only knew the pain of hiding food until I learned, wait a second, I don't have to hide food. I can just eat. And it's still taking me a couple of years too, because I've been focusing on a lot of other stuff. Because the other thing with the universe is, if you don't heal something, it'll keep popping it up and popping it up and popping up until you heal something. I have a big, I was a big people pleaser. I never knew I was a people pleaser. Somebody would say, you're a people pleaser. And I'd look at them and say, are you kidding me? I'm too much in people's face to be a people pleaser. Until, I had a bad outcome and at the office and, we had to let an employee go. And I realized at that point, the universe was showing me everything about myself that I was ignoring, all wrapped up in one incident in a nice, neat bow. And then the pandemic hit. So I got to have a lot of time to learn it. And so I both earned and learned this authority of how to heal shadows. I know how to do it. I know how to apply things. I know I have all kinds of steps and exercises to take you from here's defining your shadow to here's healing your shadow. I can even help you learn how to find your shadow, because those little buggers stay hidden for a long time because they don't want you to find, they don't want to be found. They're happy where they're at. But when you heal your shadow, you will have this, you'll feel empowered, you'll feel in control, and that you don't have to hide. You don't have to hide anymore. You can just be you because you are good enough. So when you start thinking about transforming your life and you start thinking about healing, and I believe coming out of this pandemic, I believe that we're going to see a huge spiritual awakening among women, because women took the brunt of the pandemic. Women lost their jobs the most. Women got paid the least. A lot of women had to quit their jobs because the children weren't in school. And so they had to stay home with their children and, become teachers and educators and everything. They had to put their lives on hold for 2 years. And now you come out, and some people are getting right back to their lives and they're thinking, isn't this amazing? You go into a restaurant and it's packed. I went out to Olive and Ivy a couple of days ago and it was packed like there had never been a pandemic. There wasn't a face mask to be seen except on one waitress, guessing she's not vaccinated. And I thought, what about the people still suffering? What about the women that ran into all their shadows? You open up the thing and you say, oh, what's her face? I forget what big movie star just lost a lot of weight. And, oh my God, good for her. She lost all this weight in a pandemic. But how many women gained weight? How many women start drinking and smoking and doing drugs, trying to do something about the pain? So let's work together. Let's join together to heal. I want you to be able to step into your power. I want you to wake up in the morning and look yourself in the mirror and say, I am the best me I can be today. Now I'll be a better me tomorrow, but today I'm the best me I can be. And I'm happy with myself. And I believe in myself. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to tell the universe, I am ready to take you on. I am ready to do whatever it is you want to do. So don't flimmy flammy, footy around. Do the work, do the inner work to heal your shadow. You can work with me. I have half day and full day VIP days. We go to a nice place. Sometimes we come to my office because it's secluded. Sometimes we go to hotel rooms and just do the work. Because when you can figure out how to heal your shadows and you pull these things that the most random person could have said to you, but you believed, and so you've carried this shadow around with you, and it's not even your truth. I mean, I was told as a child that I was just dumb. My sister was really smart. She's still really smart. And then I was just the dummy of the crew because I had a speech impediment. I couldn't say my R's and my S's. So because of that, I was deemed retarded. I was deemed not smart. Well, let me tell you, I have a degree and I make 6 figures. So somebody got that one wrong. But for a long time, I believed it. I believed it until I met somebody that was like, you know what, you're smart. I don't know why you think you're dumb. And they were a positive, uplifting person. And I have tried since that day to be a positive, uplifting person. And especially coming out of the pandemic, I want to help uplift the world. I want everybody to know that they can be as great as they dream they can be. And it doesn't mean whatever they deem greatness is. They could deem greatness as being a billionaire. They could deem greatness as being the best physical education teacher there is, in Hermitage, Pennsylvania, my hometown, or the best basketball star in Hermitage, Pennsylvania, or the best basketball star in the NBA. Whatever your goals are, they're your goals. And they're you, and they're in your heart. So don't believe that you can't achieve it. If you can think it, that means God put that piece within you. That part is within you. You just have to pull it out. So let's get to work. Let's get that shadow work taken care of, okay? So you can be exactly that person you are. I hope this helped you guys. Have a great day. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments below. If you want to work with me, go over to my website, KarenVarner.com. Let's just start healing. Let's just become the person you're meant to be. Thanks a lot, guys.